Hey, welcome to Steve Davis Show. Special guest today is Kenny Thomas, former Lobo player for the University of New Mexico and also a great community asset to Albuquerque, New Mexico.
Trying to be like you, man.
I don't know if you want to do that, Kenny.
Community.
That's something really great. But I tell people don't know. I mean, I know they hear you on the radio with Jeff Symbiota and 610, and then after the Lobo games, you have a talk show on that. But tell people what you're doing with the community. That's so intriguing. That's part of the reason I have you on right now.
Man, thank you so much for having me, first off. Secondly, thank you also to ProView for everything that you do for the community and having ProView as a resource, as an out for the whole state of New Mexico, so thank you. I do a lot in the community. I partnered up with the Boys and Girls Club. There's different things that I do. I do a golf tournament as well. And then at the same time, I partnered up with the county on some behavioral stuff, behavioral health stuff, which you can be able to find on my social media, Kenny Thomas NBA. And I'm always one of those guys to where you got to give back, because people do see me as a role model. And there's a lot of I do basketball tournaments. We actually have one coming up here for Cinco de Mayo and Memorial Day weekend. And then I have a holiday Christmas tournament, which we just had a few weeks ago, obviously, which is always right after Christmas. Yeah, I have a lot of other stuff, but yeah.
But I tell you, you just finished that tournament. You have 60+ teams and multiple gyms. I mean, it's amazing how you do it. So it takes a lot of involvement from the community to make that happen.
Yeah. Josh Kearns, I'm pretty sure you know him. He's big in the community when it comes to sports. He's my basketball guy. He's my tournament guy. So if you know him, Josh Kearns, please reach out to him, or you can reach out to me, obviously. But yeah, this was the second annual Kenny Thomas Jamboree that we just had. We had about 4 gyms throughout the city in Albuquerque. Memorial Day weekend, that tournament, we had about 260 teams. We had about 20 to 25 gyms between Valencia, Los Lunas, Belen, some in Albuquerque, and then some of the charter schools here in the city as well. And it's a great opportunity to give this community exposure. You find that there's tournaments obviously going on here, outside of the ones that I do, but you find that a lot of local teams are going outside of the state to the bigger tournaments. I want to bring the bigger tournaments here to New Mexico. I feel like it's a underserved community when it comes to bigger opportunities. You got Arizona and the surrounding states that are doing it. So I'm trying to help progress that, to see how we can get more exposure for these kids to get opportunities to go outside of the state to accomplish their dreams, being able to play college sports.
Well, I think AAU started when you were. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
and I think that helped you get get your name out there, and you had multiple offers besides UNM. But I'm just saying that you traveled a lot in those years.
Yeah, people probably don't know this, but I'm a military brat. I'm actually from Douglasville, Georgia. That's where I was born.
I thought you were from El Paso.
Yeah.
Right?
I'm about to get to that. My dad was in the Army. So I lived in Germany for about 6-7 years, from like 5 to 11 or 12. And then my dad got stationed in El Paso, Texas, which is Fort Bliss, the last place. I went to Austin Middle School, Austin High School, Ross Middle School as well. And then I was able to come for my senior year and went to Albuquerque High. And like you said, I could have basically went anywhere in the country. I played on an AAU team here from Albuquerque since I was 12 with AJ Bramlett, Chris Gonzalez, who those guys are still my good friends. And I could have went anywhere. People don't know this, but the late Dean Smith was supposed to come have lunch with me, but I committed to UNM, and it just felt right. And here's another one. I had 18,000 people for a state championship game, which I won in '95, the same year that I came. I wanted 18,000 people for every game, and I had that. So, yeah, it was a good choice to come to UNM.
So let me tell you my Kenny Thomas story.
I hope it's a good one.
It's about high school sports, and so. Man, I hear there's a big game at Albuquerque High, and AJ Brantliff, and then I wasn't into coach. I was doing construction. I was doing real estate or whatever, and a friend of mine decided we were going to go to the game, and so I called Jim Holzman up. And I said, "Hey Jim, I'd like to come to the game." He said, "Steve, make sure you come at 5 o'clock in the afternoon."
Yeah.
And I said, "What? CT and JV are playing." He says, "Just come in at please get there at 5. So for some reason, I didn't believe him. Okay, I mean, I was like, "Come, this can't be true, man." So we get there about 5:45. There's Albuquerque High. There's a line all the way up and down. I called Jim Holzman. I said, "Jim, man, hey, is there anything you can do?" And he says, "Steve, go around the gym."
Around the back.
So we walk in. And he says, "Steve, I got you in, but you're on your own." And then I look up in the rafters, and the Arizona coach was there, and
Lute Olson.
Lute Olson was there, and I'll probably bring some memories back to you.
Oh yeah, I hang with AJ. That's my boy, man. Like I said, him and Chris Gonzalez, and I actually go watch AJ's son play at La Cueva right now. I just went like last week, I think. They actually played Cleveland. Cleveland's really good. But those are, I've never seen anything like that, even for a high school game, to where it was sold out. And you got to remember, Henry T. did the games because they did it throughout the whole state, because obviously everybody couldn't get in the gym. But being able to be a part of that environment for the first time, I think that was the first time 2 or 3 high school games, our high school games, are televised in the whole state. And seeing Lou Olson up there and playing against my buddy AJ and Chris Gonzalez, it was good. And I didn't believe this whole community when it comes to basketball. And we, when I say we, me and AJ and the core of all of us brought a whole different dynamic when it came to sports and in high school. And being able to win state in '95, I got to say that again, Steve. '95 champ.
We're going to come back to that. So, but anyway, we're going to go to Everguard Roofing and Solar top 10 plays of the week and talk more about Kenny Thomas.
Let's do it.
Goes to the basket, and Kincaid shuts it down. See that? Amigos. Here it is. 3-ball. Nails it. Larissa Martinez. Ball's in his hand. He'll fire up another one. Nothing but the bottom of the net for Esteban Gonzalez. Tavares smells blood, going to go all the way, and he's going to the line for a chance at a 3-point. And the 3 is Butler underneath, another block for Quesada, and then Session took it away. Ahead to Lujan in transition, lays it up and in with the left hand. A big steal and the 3, Xavier. Knox gets it into on the bounce. Here comes Morris. Morris driving, lobbing. Quesada start to bust on the alley-oop. And she does. St. Pius gets it in. Candelaria, can she run the clock out? Arndt with the steal. She shoots. It's in. Will it count?
Let it go.
Fires looks good. It's good! Espinosa with a 3-quarter court 3. 16-13.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. For over 20 years, Evergard Roofing and Solar has been committed to customer service. Locally owned and operated, Evergard offers both commercial and residential roofing and solar services. For more info, please call 505-821-9543. Evergard Roofing and Solar are proud supporters of ProView Sports Network and New Mexico Youth Athletics.
Welcome back to the Steve Davis Show. We got Kenny Thomas here, and we were reminiscing on old times. But Kenny, you're back in Albuquerque, and I know Jeff Symbiotis embraced you, and you got segments, and that moved into more. So talk more about your weekly schedule now. It's being very impactful, and then it's impactful on the basketball people that are listening. But talk about your schedule.
So my schedule's on any given day, it could be totally all over the place. I'm so diversified in a lot of different areas. I don't know if you probably remember this, but I'll start here. Before I got into radio with these 2 shows that I have, which I'll talk about in a second, I worked for NBC Sports California. So I did live TV for 2 years. I did the pregame, halftime, postgame show for my old team, the Sacramento Kings. I still have a house in Sacramento, so I try to hit the areas where I played in. New Mexico is my foundation. Obviously, Houston, I played there. Sacramento, I still
you're
live
looking
there.
a little. They win a game, and all of a sudden the wardrobe comes down.
I had to wear this. Obviously, we got Kansas City coming up this Saturday. I say we like I'm playing, but yeah. Kansas City coming up this Saturday. But yeah, they didn't bring the NBC Sports didn't bring me back last year. So if you notice, I started Lobos Live with me at KKOB 96.3 or 770. Check me out after every men's basketball game. It's not the post-game show, it's a call-in show. So it's interacting with fans. They call in, talk to me, or text. I have my co-host Brandon Ortega that's there with me. But it's all about having a voice. I feel like I needed to have a voice with all the different things that I have that's going on in the community. I can talk about those. And then all of this would not have started if it wasn't for Jeff Symbieta Also last year, giving me a 30-second spot on Tuesdays
Isn't it
and
funny
Fridays.
how that just evolved? You just got a little touch, and then all of a sudden it was more and more.
Yeah.
Like
And
now
I
you
got
like
more. Yeah, and the Sports Animal, he gives me 30 minutes on his show every Tuesdays and Fridays, all the way up until June. So I start the call-in show in November, and then I start the Sports Animal in November. The call-in show obviously stops in March when the Lobos are done, and then the other one goes until June.
And that's where you pick up on the NBA, which you're very. Was it you played 10 or 11 years?
11 years.
11 years.
11 years.
See, I keep up. I listen.
Once you get the 10 years, you're taken care of for the rest of your life. But yeah, it's also about having a voice, right? And we talk about a variety of sports. Me and Jeff, we mess around and we golf. There's a lot of different things we talk about, and all the community stuff that I have going on. But I'm also looking at another media radio opportunity in Sacramento. So I'm diversified and got to keep my voice and my message out, especially outside of like social media.
Well, can you do your Sacramento show still here in New Mexico, or do you have to? I mean, today's deal. I mean, you don't know. I mean, nobody knows the way with technology and everything.
Yeah. See, you're in TV, which normally needs to be done in person, like NBC Sports. When I did that needed to be done in person because I needed to be in studio or in the arena. Thing about radio, I can travel and have a computer and connect me to the Wi-Fi, and you wouldn't even know that I wasn't even in the studio. So. Nice thing about these radio shows, I can do them from anywhere, and it's not going to limit me from doing all of my other things that I have going on as well.
Well, you've become, you're in the New Mexico Hall of Fame, correct?
Yeah, New Mexico Hall of Fame, UNM Hall of Fame, and APS Hall of Fame.
So when you came into, it's amazing how people still remember you and how they gravitate to you. I mean, it's
That's
fun.
nice to know.
I mean, it's fun. I was watching, and you don't even remember this, but you were at the banquet, and you're standing there, and they almost couldn't get the thing started because everybody's coming over to say hello and talk to you a little bit.
Man, it's an honor, man. I'm 47, be 48 this year, and it was hard work what I did, and being able to be honored and
to be embraced the way
it's amazing. It's amazing, man, because people still remember, and thank you for still remembering. And I'm not done. I'm just getting started because there's a lot of different things I have coming up when it comes to the community, and this is my community. New Mexico is my foundation, and this place means the world to me.
Well, we're going to take a little break, and we're going to come back talk about Kenny Thomas and some of the things that we can look forward to over the next couple of years.
Oh yeah, man.
You followed him from the first day he signed with the team. You remember the day he poured in 63 points? The night he played a sold-out concert to 30,000 people. The day he gave his infamous speech. That's why you believe in heroes. That's why you remember and collect their memorabilia. All in Autographs, where you can meet some of the greats, collect some of the greats, and share your own legacy. Visit All In Autographs, where you can celebrate the great and have your own piece of history.
The Yeller Sub, located on 7200 Montgomery Boulevard, serves breakfast all day long along with classic hot and cold subs. Don't forget about our shakes, malts and floats made with your favorite Blue Bell ice cream. 45 years and still going strong. Come on down to the Yeller Sub, official sandwich of ProView Networks.
I'm David C. Chavez, personal injury attorney. Our law firm was founded by my father, Thibaut J. Chavez, with one goal: to get New Mexicans the help they need. That's why we built a different kind of law firm. We focus on family values, dedicated service, and we make a real contribution by giving back to our communities. We can't change what happened to you or your loved ones, but we can help you get back on the road to recovery. We're by your side, and we're still as local as red and green.
TurboThreads is a proud sponsor of ProView Networks.
Almost 30 years of experience means fast service, great prices, and a wide selection of apparel from t-shirts to performance sport shirts, even jackets and hats. They feature low minimums and no setup charges on most orders. Turbo Threads is located at 1503 Golf Course Road in Rio Rancho, or find them on Facebook, online at turbothreads.com, or call 999-1234 for Turbo Threads.
Hey, welcome back, Steve Davis Show. We got Kenny Thomas, and it's such a pleasure to have you on and talk about Lobo. I know Lobo's meant a lot to you, but it also meant a lot to me. And there's two different contrasts. I was a role player, but even though I've been a role player, people still remember me to this day.
Good. As they should.
Well, yeah, and it doesn't matter if you're a starter or if you're a role player. People know if you're a Lobo or not.
That's the key. People know if you're a Lobo or not.
A friend of mine, Norman Day, when I was recruited heavily by New Mexico State and Texas Tech, and at that time, and I had to make a choice, and he was from Clovis, and he insurance salesman, and he told me, he said, Steve, he said, you go to, all the schools are great. Mm-hmm. Everybody, they all have their pluses, whatever it is. He says, but one thing about the University of New Mexico, if you don't play 1 minute, people will remember, and when you go to interview for a job, mm-hmm. you'll get first in line if you qualify. And that's what sold me. It wasn't all the other thing. It was that statement that you get your first choice to be employed anywhere you want to in the state.
He said if he qualified, he qualified. He was a Lobo.
So that's what sold me on the University of New Mexico.
Hey, 18,000 people sold me for a high school game. And then you remember, I got something for you. Remember they came in and they created dots around the arena to where people could stand?
Right.
Because it was sold out all the time when I played? Yeah, when I played all 4 years, it was sold out. I'm not bragging.
Well, guess what? 10 years before then?
Yeah.
So here is...
I get it.
And probably... I'm trying to regulate.
I didn't even know where Albuquerque was 10 years before that.
Well, I'm glad you found it. So, talk about, we talked about the community thing, but you got some business things going on. I just found out. So let's speak on that.
I got the Kenny Thomas Legacy Wines, which is in Albertsons right now throughout the state. If you're interested, Southern Glaziers is my distributor, so you can reach out to your rep. Please, if you're interested in carrying it, if you carry it, you can reach out to me, and I would be interested in coming out and doing appearances. I do appearances to promote everything I do. I go into Albertsons, and I sit there and I sign autographs, and people walk by and they realize I have wine.
Do you wear a Lobo shirt, or do you wear a Houston shirt, or do you wear
I wear this.
I
wear this. So there's a lot of supporters here. And I'm also in California. I'm in Raley's. I'm in 102 stores in California and Nevada. I'm looking at getting into the Kings Arena here pretty soon. And
you don't have any connections there, do you?
Yeah. I'm trying to hit the markets where I have all the connections, right? But yeah, I'm looking at growing and expanding here in New Mexico, my foundation. Stay tuned. I have another spirit coming out that's on the darker side. That's separate from wine in the next few months. What else? I have a golf tournament coming up September 6th. That weekend, I'm trying to figure out if it's going to be on a Friday or a Saturday. It's going to be at Isleta Golf Course. And that's going to be probably through the Boys and Girls Club, trying to figure out who is going to be the charity component for the golf tournament this year. It's going to be the 3rd annual Kenny Thomas Golf Tournament.
Well, been very successful, my understanding. So
yeah,
very, very successful.
Man, I'm blessed. And hey, check out my social media. I have a partnership with the county right now with the doctor. Her name is Dr. Catherine Grill. We're doing some video series and bringing awareness to some resources. Also, I got a partnership with the Department of Health. we're putting out there some resources and some tools to bring awareness for the community as well.
And quickly, what about the Lobos? Let's just talk a little bit about the Lobos. I know you talk about them. For me, they're as good as any team I've seen. I mean, as far as defense, I mean, they're a physical defensive team, and that's, you know, you look at the stats, look at the deal, and they've learned how to win.
Yeah. They've learned how to win, but have they really learned how to win?
Well, time will tell on that.
Yeah, and going on the road is going to create a whole dynamic, and especially it starts with this one with San Jose State that's coming up. And San Jose State gave the Lobos a run for their money in the pit. The Lobos only won by 6 in that game.
Should have lost.
It was one of those ones because the Lobos couldn't score. Sometimes the Lobos are trying to figure out who's that second punch that's needed. I feel like the bench depth is coming into factor. Pitino being able to play 8 to 10 guys is huge because especially coming down the stretch, especially how teams are starting to key in on double him. Teams are going 1-3-1, 3-2 zones. They're mixing it up against Dent because they're forcing the Lobos to be able to beat them in other areas. The X factor is Amzil. Amzil is that guy that needs to come in and step up. There's always going to not be opportunities to where he's going to score. But if he can impact the game by getting rebounds like he did by having 11 rebounds in the last game, and he's going to help eliminate a lot of second chance points. But defense on the defensive side is helping the Lobos, especially when they go through those non-scoring droughts.
And my input is if Washington is consistent from the outside, then it just opens up everything.
I totally agree with that when all of them are consistent from the outside. But I'm old school, man. I want to see those guys get to the basket, maybe knock down a mid-range shot, get other guys going if there's not opportunities there. Obviously, if there's open shots, to a certain extent, you got to take those, but you don't necessarily have to. I would always like to get myself going downhill, get to the free throw line, and start feeling good. So.
Well, and that creates a lot of things. Hey, Kenny, well, you know, hey, thanks for coming on. Thanks for what you do, and I'll see you around. How's that?
Yeah, man. Thank you for having me, and stay tuned. Your boy got a lot coming.